Vince Caruso, welcome to the Rebel.
Yes. Hey, guys, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Well, I'm alive. I haven't put my head through a wall yet, but I'm alive. I'm here.
You know,
is
what's
Ryan
going
there? Is
on
Ryan there with you? Ryan, are you there?
You know,
Hey, how you doing, brother? How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm checking if I got your Twitter handle right. Is it Vivacious Vince?
Vivacious Vince, that's right.
Okay.
At Vivacious Vince.
All right, cool.
Excellent. So Vince, talk to us. You know, last time we were with you was just prior to Nadjib Mohammedi's fight on the Kovalev undercard. Had a spectacular victory, and now we are in the aftermath. As we know, he is Kovalev's mandatory. Talk a little bit about, you know, where negotiations are going for a fight with Kovalev. I thought that they were going to have something signed by April 16th.
Well, you know, I've had so many writers and hosts like yourself emailing me and texting me all day, want to know what's going on. Vince, where do we stand? What's the announcement? And to be honest with you, you know, the IBF, as you said correctly, 2 days after Nadjib and both Sergey won in Montreal on the 14th of March, on the 16th, which was a Monday, they sent out letters to both parties and said you have 30 days to complete a deal for this mandatory. Now, normally you figure two fighters under the same roof, negotiations would go smooth, and they would be pretty much hassle-free. I mean, we both know what the expectations are. I'm certainly not going to price my guy out of the market. I know the market price for a challenge to a unified a title, whether it be light heavyweight, a heavyweight, or whatever it may be. I've been in the business 21 years almost. I didn't hear any response. My co-manager, John Ali, didn't hear any response until the 26th day of the 30-day period. The 26th day. During that time, I kept calling the IBF and saying, hey, listen, we have not heard from our promoter. We've reached out to about 4 different emails to Kathy Duva, CC to Jolene, her vice president and matchmaker. Never heard back. It was always, well, we're meeting with HBO on Monday. Then we're meeting with HBO on Friday. Then we're meeting with HBO next Wednesday. And all these meetings with HBO and nothing. Of course, let's keep in mind that during this time, the WBC snuck in that purse bid call for the next day, April 17th, for the unification with Kovalev and Stevenson. So, I mean, listen, I may be a high school dropout, but I'm a street guy. And I can tell you right now, all those meetings they had at HBO, Nadjib Mohammedi's name did not come out of anyone's mouth in those meetings. I can most guarantee you that. That was the garner of what do we do. So the main thing is they did send one correspondence back to Lindsey Tucker over at the IBF, and it was, oh, don't worry, Mohammedi's with us, it'll get done. That right there raised a red flag. I said, guys, listen, we're going to get a take-it-or-leave-it offer, and it's going to be so ridiculously low, you're probably going to choke on your tongues. So just be ready for what our alternative plans are. I never like to walk into a room without A, B, or C game plan. I always have 2 ways out. Always have to do that. I don't care if it's at a social event. I don't care if it's business. I don't care if it's a relationship. I always have a plan B and a plan C. You have to. So I sat down with our team. We waited. Sure enough, on the 26th day, we got an offer on a Friday afternoon at 5:30 p.m., right before the weekend when, of course, business is closed, and we would have less of a time to negotiate. And it was a ridiculous offer. And for the sake of negotiations that are still ongoing, I will keep that private. Of course, it will be public record once the contract is signed, if it is signed, because we're right now hanging on a stipulation that is just ridiculously stupid. We came to the point where it was, hey, listen, this is a very insulting offer. I mean, insulting for a unified championship against, outside of Mr. Mayweather and Mr. Pacquiao, the most popular fighter in boxing today, who just pulled a 1.2 rating against Jean Pascal and a 1.5 rating against Bernard Hopkins. By the way, fights that we let happen because we stepped aside. Okay? So pretty much we helped Sergey Kovalev become the fighter he is today. He's a millionaire and garnering over $1 million in purses because we let him fight Bernard Hopkins. We let him fight Jean Pascal because we were under the same umbrella. And under that umbrella, go ahead, Brian, go ahead.
To be fair, reports came out that Kovalev really only walked away with like $250,000 of dollars from that Hopkins fight.
Yeah, sure. And you know what? He was only the WBO champ at the time. And honestly, he probably got what I believe was market value, and market value for that would have been between $500,000 and $600,000. I believe his exact purse was $500,000. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then that was his gross, and then his net was and that's market value. That's market value, and that was for the WBO and the IBF and the WBA titles. Correct? That was for all three. I get that. I mean, for a unification, I would expect a little more if I was his representative, but hey, that's on his management and him. That's not my business. But the fact of the matter is we could have pressed that issue, and we could have fought Bernard Hopkins, not had to sign with Main Events. We could have signed with Oscar De La Hoya. We could have gotten a very good payday. And to be honest with you, I believe in my product. I think he would have beat him. I think Mohammedi's, he's got a heart like I've never seen. But the bottom line is this, for the better of business, we sat down with Kathy. We said, you know what? Let's let the Hopkins fight happen. We'll sign with you, and then all we want is Kovalev or Hopkins next. The winner of that fight, we want him next. What would happen is as soon as Hopkins won, he defeated Hopkins. He was the unified champ, and we're expecting to hear from them. We didn't hear from them. I said, guys, it's 10 days already. Let's reach out. Hey, Kathy, what's going on? Well, HBO doesn't want Kovalev-Mohammedi. Okay. So then my rebuttal was, in what state does HBO hold a promoter's license? They're promoters? No, I'm being serious. Well, Peter, who? There's no Peter promotional I know. You see where I'm going with this? HBO is a network. They're not a promoter. They're a network.
Yeah. It feels like Main Events has kind of become a slave to HBO these days.
Exactly. But let's think about this. Let's turn it political for just a minute. Just a minute. We're hearing about Al Heyman and how Al Heyman is violating the Ali Act and violating it because he's acting like a promoter. What do you think HBO is doing? Oh, but wait a second. The man who scripted the Ali Act is named Senator John McCain. Can you tell me in 2008 who was John McCain's number one financial supporter? I'm sorry, number two, behind the Cook brothers. It was Time Warner. Time Warner owns, wait for it, HBO. There you go. And miraculously, they're excluded from the Ali Act. So you do the math there. The bottom line is this, that this young man, this hard-working kid who believe you me, it impresses me every day with his dedication to the sport. He said, you know what? It's okay, Vince. I'll take the time. I'll get with Abel Sanchez. I'll learn from the guy who trained Kovalev how to beat Kovalev. And I'll do it. I will not let you down, Vince. I said, all right. I said, I'll tell you what. Let me negotiate a deal. We'll get you a favorable fight. I wanted somebody better on the Pascal undercard. I wanted somebody better. We wound up getting a guy who was 8-1. I asked for guys like Tommy Carponce, who was coming off of a win over Chad Dawson. I asked for guys. Marcus Oliveira, who was with Don King, who was a very dear friend of mine. I could have made that fight on my own. But no, I was told, no, we can't do that. Carponce's with Al Heyman. No, he's not. He's not with Al Heyman. He's with a local promoter in Pittsburgh. And then we had another fighter that, he's with Al Heyman. No, he's not with Al. Here's the thing. So what if he is with Al Heyman? You don't have to make the deal. I will. Just tell me the budget. This is the problem I'm having. You see what I mean? Suspect business practice here. Suspect. Bottom line is this. I asked for something credible because I knew we were next in line. We let the Kovalev-Pascal fight happen. I knew we were going to be next in line. I wanted somebody credible so I could wind up on HBO and they could do it as a prelude to the mandatory of what was to come. They said, we only have 2 spots on the card. Steve Cunningham and Czar Glasgow will be the other. Well, miraculously, 2 days after we signed a contract to fight Lee Campbell, Now, all of a sudden, there's 3 spots, and Isaac Chilemba takes over the 3rd spot. Isaac Chilemba, who is not a mandatory to any of the titles. He's a mandatory in the WBC, which no WBC title was on the line that evening because the champion's Adonis Stevenson. There was nothing, and correct me if I'm wrong, the guy he fought, I mean, even though he had a 17-0 record, he was garbage, total garbage. The guy went in there and quit in the 5th round. And it was, I mean, watching that fight was the equivalent of watching paint drying on the wall. And the bottom line was this. If you knew Mohammedi, if you signed Mohammedi to a promotional contract, you have to put his best interest at heart. You knew he was going to be next for Kovalev. You knew it. If you played by the rules, he was going to be next for Kovalev, and you didn't put him on the broadcast. And, Giandra, I sent you in your email, you will see it now, the day that you were at that press luncheon that we did in Los Angeles. You were there. My friend Radio Raheem was there. Steve Kim was there. A lot of prominent writers were there. And you saw the lion's share of the interviews were mostly Mohammedi and myself. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep, we sat down for a long time with you guys.
Okay, now you see the press release from Main Events there, correct? The one that I sent you. It's in your mailbox. You see everybody listed there. You see Igis Klimas, the manager of Sergey Kovalev. He's listed in there. You have Buddy McGirt, the trainer of Isaac Chilemba. He's listed in there. You have some Russian guy. I can't even pronounce his name. He's the trainer of Lepenkin. He's listed in there. Do you see Vince Caruso's name in there anywhere?
No.
Do you see anything outside of a generic 5 sentences from Nadjib Mohammedi in there?
I
think about it.
But you are correct.
Think about it. Think about it. You hold me down so you don't have to pay me when it's time to get down. And that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. RESPECT. Respect. And we did not get that. We were set up. We were stowed. We were pushed to the back. So then when it came time to fight Kovalev, it could be like, well, HBO doesn't want to pay you and nobody knows you. Bullshit. Nobody. We knocked out Anatoly Dachenko on national TV, NBC, right there. I mean, seriously, it's been terrible. We are now have had 2 extensions. We have now raised the financial particulars a little bit, nowhere near even what should be the standard. I mean, I know what the standard is, but, you know, I tried to explain this to Kathy. Kathy, I don't like your offer. I would like to submit for a purse bid. I would like a purse bid because you have a fighter that pulls in 1.5 million people on pay TV. What would happen if he was on free TV? How much do you think he would do? If he's pulling 1.5 million on pay TV, HBO, what do you think he would do on CBS or NBC or Spike or whatever? Maybe Mr. Aaron's True TV. My response, the response I got back, you're in bed with Al Heyman, just as I suspected. You're working for Al Heyman. Al Heyman? Hi, I'm Vince Caruso, the guy who calls Al Heyman out on everything. I mean, do you know? Really, it's like
they don't follow you on Facebook, clearly.
You know that. They obviously you don't hear my rhetoric. I take you to task, and if I don't like you, I'm all over you like a pit bull. When have I ever been a fan of Al Heyman? Al Heyman pushes guys like me out the back door. The way that Walmart ate up the mom and pop stores. There's no use for agents or managers like myself. I'm not Igis Klimas. I'm not walking around or working with a war chest here. I'm a guy who gets out there and busts his ass for his clients and takes an interest in his clients. That's why I only have 2. I'm not out there trying to sign fighters. I see something in somebody, and I see a champion, and I roll with it, and I ride it out until we win. And if we don't, I still got your back. You see what I mean? Al Heyman. I mean, I said, Kathy, did you ever think I'm actually fucking smart and I know this business a little bit? I didn't learn this business from watching Honest Business Practices. I learned it from watching my brother Marco Barrera get ripped off twice. That's how I learned it. I mean, come on now. I know the okie doke when I see the okie doke. And that's exactly what was happening. And here, and you know, you got their fighter is running around Los Angeles, Sergey Kovalev, going to gyms of people that I know that are like family to me and voicing his displeasure in the fact that as Ryan pointed out. Why am I only walking away with $250,000 for fighting one of the best fighters in the world? So he's upset financially. You see where I'm going with this? Look, man, bottom line is this. I've had to hear from, in the 90s and the 80s, it was how bad Don King was. Well, let me tell you, Don King ain't never did me wrong. And I did business with the man for 15 years. Never stole my sites. Never tried to backdoor me with my clients. Never. And now we're hearing how bad Al Heyman is. But yet Al Heyman's people, through a promoter, contacted a fighter in Florida who was 18-0, who had no names on his resume, to fight Adonis Stevenson, the spot that Saki Obika had, to fight Adonis Stevenson and offered him $600,000. Wow. And that is nowhere near what they're trying to give us to fight a guy who killed a guy in the ring and is the unified champ. And like I said, outside of Mayweather Pacquiao, brings in the highest ratings. We didn't get a thank you. We got a fuck you. That's exactly what happened. And that's exactly what happened. Look. Normally I wouldn't say anything. Normally I let it play out. But it's so bad now that the lawyers are involved. Lawyers. Believe me, I've been in a room with pimps and hoes, and I've been amongst more trust with them than a room full of lawyers. And that's the truth. That's the truth. The bottom line is this. This young man, Nadjib Mohammedi, has earned this shot. He's been the number one contender for almost a year. He stepped aside. He stepped aside twice to let this guy build his product. Now you should reward him. Do you know what's holding up this fight right now? Because we've already agreed on the bullshit purse. We've already agreed on all the other bullshit they've thrown at us. Because we just want to kick this motherfucker's ass. But let me tell you something. Do you know what's holding up this fight right now? Kovalev has 3 belts. Kovalev has 3 belts. We are the number one contender in one of those sanctioning bodies, and that's the IBF. Contractually and legally, that is the only sanctioning body we should be fighting for. Now, you know when you fight for a title, you have to pay a 3% sanction fee, okay? Mm-hmm. They're trying to tell us, you got to fight for all 3 titles. I said, no, I don't. I'm not the mandatory in the WBA, and I'm certainly not the mandatory in WBO. No, so I'm not fighting. You've already disgraced this young man by such a low-ball offer. Now you want me to go take another 6% off of his purse to pay to make your champion look elite, to walk in there with all...
Did they try to get you to pay 3% on all of them? Because when it's a unification, they have like a reduced fee policy.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Ryan. You're right. It goes to 2%. I'm sorry. It goes 1% down from each one. So it would be 2%. But the bottom line is I'm not paying 1%. I don't like the WBO. I don't like the WBA. I certainly don't like the WBC. I only support the IBF. I've been a member. I've been a supporting member for 20 years since I've been in this business. I've gone to the convention. Bobby Lee, the former president, is a guy I used to look up to. Bobby Lee's a great man. And now it's run by his nephew, Darryl Peoples, another great man. But, I mean, the bottom line is this. You're going to hold up a fight for 4%, let's just say 4%, of this low-ball offer that you gave us. But yet you're going to let your fighter go pay $40,000 for some bullshit WBC belt he could have it made when he fought Pascal? And now, see, they don't have a promoter-fighter relationship with Kovalev. Oh, no. Now it's Crusher Promotions in association with Main Events. You see? Sergey Kovalev is trying to mimic Gennady Golovkin. That's what he's trying to do. All right? That's what he's trying to do. So they're in a partnership. So look here, man. You paid $40,000 to get yourself some phony baloney belt made from the WBC, adding up $8,000 or $9,000, $12,000, and pay the sanctioning fee if you want to put your 3 titles up. I ain't paying it. Because if we win, I'm taking those titles and I'm throwing them in the trash because they don't mean nothing to me. The IBF is American-owned, and we are fighting in America, and we will support American business. I'm not supporting Latino business, and I'm half Latino. The bottom line is this, man. We are the mandatory in the IBF. Maybe if you paid the kid what we asked, I would graciously fight for all 3 titles. But you insulted me, you get no quarter from me. None whatsoever. And the bottom line is, my opinion on Sergey Kovalev has drastically went down in the last 10 days, 7 to 10 days, after I've seen that disgusting racist tweet he put out. He's a racist. That's what he is. I don't care how you try to, well, my promoter told me how things. You ain't got a black person working in the office. What are they going to tell you about race relations in this country? The bottom line is this. That was a racist tweet, and now it's personal, because you know I don't roll like that. I am diverse as diverse can be, and I don't like that. That was low, and let me tell you something. If an NBA owner who has billions had to forcefully sell his team because he made the same type of comment, why is this man still a champion? Why can this man not have a hearing in front of an athletic commission to answer for what he did? But we want to crucify Floyd Mayweather for his supposed domestic violence, which he was tried, convicted, and served his time for? Now, come on. Double standard, or am I just rambling here?
Yeah, you know, society has different rules for different people, depending on what side of the paper bag you are.
And what hurts me most, let me tell you, Joshua, not to interrupt you, young lady, but what hurts me most, the IBF is African-American owned and operated, and they're silent. Mm-hmm. Crickets. That's all I hear, crickets. Where is the statement from President Peoples? Where is the apology? You're going to make I'm sorry, I'm from Russia. Motherfucker, you've been in this country for 15 years. Who you kidding? And you living in California, there's folk all over the place out there. And I'm sure now a lot of them want to meet Mr. Kovalev for his comments, too. But the bottom line is this, man. HBO permits this man on their network, but you're going to tell me my warrior, my charge, my man Mohammedi, who's a blood and guts guy who takes time when he's not fighting to help cancer patients. He's invited these terminally ill cancer patients to his fight that will be sitting ringside to support him, terminally ill with 6 months left. And you're going to tell me my man's not good enough for your network, but a racist is? Shit. You tell me if I'm wrong. You tell me if I'm wrong. Because everything I got documented with documents. It's not hearsay. It's documents.
You are preaching tonight. So, knowing all of this, is there any way to right the ship in terms of the fight? Do you think it's possible they could come back to the table with you with something a little bit more acceptable, or what do you do at this point?
Look here. As soon as we get this little bullshit thing going over for this percentage or this fee or whatever they want, and believe me, so many people want us to kick this dude's ass. I'll probably get enough donations. I'll probably get $12,000 in donations to cover it. Let me tell you something. We're gonna destroy this guy. And if you don't believe me, I swear, just watch. I swear to you, Abel Sanchez is a genius. And when I say a genius, he knows what Kovalev's weaknesses are. We've watched them. We've done our homework. We've been living, breathing, eating this. I'm up in that camp. You think Aegis Clemus is up in the camp with Kovalev, sweating and running and studying? No, he's not. No, he's not. But I'm up there with my boy.
With Lomachenko. He in Vegas with Lomachenko right now.
Exactly. I'm up there with my boy Mohammedi and my co-manager John Ali, and we are going over film every day. We know what the weakness is. Abel Sanchez knows what the weakness is. Gennady Golovkin, our friend, knows the weaknesses of Kovalev. We're going to expose them. You saw already that the man can be hit. You saw already the man gets flustered. We know what to do. We got our game plan, and I tell you this. If we don't win the fight, we're sure damn going to look good. And then HBO is going to kiss my ring.
Kiss the ring.
Thanks. I got to ask you one question. Were you in any way tutored by Rock Newman?
You know, not at all, but Rock Newman and I have a mutual friend, an old cat out there named Sid Silver. Rock Newman's a good man. I like Rock Newman. I remember all the time I used to talk to him when I used to see him in the 90s all the time when he would come out here with Bo. He's a good man. I like Rock.
Yeah, because that's the first thing I thought of when you said you were going to throw the titles in the trash. remember when Riddick Bro did that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He did throw the trash can. I don't mean literally in a trash can. I just mean, look, I'll throw it into the audience. I'll let a lucky fan have it. In fact, I might give it to one of these cancer patients here that Mohammedi works with. Man, let me tell you, I'm so impressed with this guy. I have never had a client like this guy. My son loves him. I mean, my family loves him. He comes here. He stays in my house. Let me tell you, this dude is such a good guy and such a devoted, just devoted to boxing and devoted to his people. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. He truly is a throwback. All he wants to do is fight. All he wants to do is go out there and take his chance and run with it. And you know what the sad part is? When you sign with the promoter, they're supposed to have your best interest at heart. These people don't work for us. They work for Kovalev. That's who they work for. They don't give a crap about us. And how do I know this? That's not opinion, because of their actions. Their actions are speaking so loud I cannot hear what their mouth says. And the fact that they gave us such a ridiculously insulting offer, I mean, it's unbelievable. And believe me, once this is signed, if it's signed, I will definitely let you know. I'll come back on the show and let you know, because it's public record. We all know that. It's not hidden.
Damn right.
The bottom line is this. When does the boxing public, put the actions and the dubiousness of people like this ahead of their desire to watch them? Ray Rice is a great running back. I love Ray Rice. Ray Rice went to Rutgers under Greg Schiano. Great player. He fucked up once. He's eligible to come back now to the NFL. Nobody wants him. But let me ask you something, because he hit a woman. But let me ask you something. How can my African-American fans and my fans of diversity like I am, how can you feel comfortable supporting or watching this guy who did what he did? I'm sorry. I got a problem with that. Look, listen. Mohammedi's a Muslim. John Ali's a Muslim. I'm a Muslim. You got 3 Muslims, okay? What if we went out and held up a sign depicting, let's say, a Jewish guy, a cartoon character of a Jewish guy pulling money out of the back of somebody's pocket, and I put HBO and I put an arrow towards it? You think I'd ever fight on their network? Think about that now. Now, I'm not saying that's my – now, hold on. I'm not saying that's my sentiment, because you know Jerry Heller is a dear friend of mine, and I have a lot of Jewish fans, tons. But I'm going to tell you now, let's think about that. Would I fight on their network? Would I fight on their network? Because let me tell you, all I keep hearing, Ryan, is, well, HBO wants to do this. And show me HBO's promoter's license. But you're going to cry about Al Heyman. Let me tell you something. Al Heyman is not a bad man. I disagree with some of his practices. Now, I've known Al Heyman before because he was in the music business, and I knew him through Easy and Jerry. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Al Heyman's not a bad man. Al Heyman respects the fighters. When Steve Cunningham lost to Tsar Glaskov, his promoter turned their back on him, and they walked away.
That did happen.
They walked away. They told the brother to retire. That man right there served in our military. He deserves respect. And who did he get the respect from? Mr. Heyman. Al Heyman's actions, if you look at it for the fighters, is benefiting these fighters. Because let me tell you something. Al Heyman to this day calls Paul Williams to make sure he's okay. And you saw Paul in those interviews said, I talk to Al Heyman every day. Let me ask you something. Does Main Events do anything for Rocky Lockridge, who's on the streets of Camden, cracked out? He fought for them. He was a champ for them. You can't set the brother up with a treatment program? Not at all. It's all about that mighty dollar. You love the dollar, you fall for the dollar. It's that simple. I tell you what, when I die, I want my son and his sons and the sons after that to be able to go in to the archives on YouTube or Fight Archives or even the Hall of Fame, which next year I will be there with my brother Marco Barrera, okay? And I want them to look at that and say, that's my dad. Not, oh, my dad made $1.5 million. No. I want something that's going to be everlasting. That's why I'm in this game. That's why I'm here. That's why Nadjib Mohammedi is where he is today. 1 year ago, nobody knew Nadjib Mohammedi. Now look at him. I'm telling you now, Do your own homework. Go Google the man's fights. This kid has heart upon heart. He's fearless, and that's how you beat Kovalev. That's how you beat him. We're going to take the fight to him.
Vince, you always spitting that. Every time I talk to you, online, offline, you always got that hot fire, that ether. Damn, you sure you don't want to run for president?
Yeah. Listen, public office will be in my future. I'm a libertarian, of course. But hey, last time that I mentioned a free market, I got accused of being in the bed with Al Heyman. Maybe if I run for president or I run for city council, I might get accused of Al Heyman throwing some hedge fund money under the table for me. I don't even know that man. I never even met him. I just know of him. I never even met Sam Watson. No, I never even met Sam Watson. Sam Watson could come in. I don't even know Sam. Sam Watson could walk right by me. He wouldn't even know me. I mean, but yet, here's my promoter, who we have done gracious things for. And the first thing out of their mouth is, you're in bed with Al Heyman. You know what it reminds me of? It's like meeting a girl, and, you fall in love with the girl, but you got to pay the crimes of what the other dude did to her. That's what it reminds me of. Because I'm like, look. You're paranoid. You got Al Heyman on the brain. I ain't with Al Heyman. I respect him. I think his actions are showing that he cares for fighters, that he generally wants to make boxing a universal sport like the NFL. He wants to get it out there. Hey, look, I really don't agree with his complete business model, as young Frank Galarza said. There's parts of it he doesn't appreciate, and I'm on the same wavelength of that young man right there. But am I going to go to the extent of thinking he's the devil? Listen, these are the same people that said how bad Don King was. And look what they did to him. The networks came together and forced him into retirement because they cut him off. But the bottom line is, tell me these fights today are anything equal to the fight that Mr. King put on for how many decades? You think about that. All we ever heard of how bad Don King was from these same people. The same people. Dan Duva used to talk about how bad and dastardly Don King was. The badass black dude from Cleveland. Well, now there's another brother from Cleveland, and they're trying to force him out too, with this new lawsuits and everything else. Look,
that's a Golden Boy lawsuit, right?
Yeah, there's something.
They dropped theirs once that Hopkins fight was made, but now Golden Boy has a lawsuit against Al Heyman.
But let me ask you this though. Let's say I go beat Kovalev. We beat Kovalev. Mohammedi beats him, wins the IBF title. Do you know who the next person I want to fight is? Adonis Stevenson. I have no problem with Adonis Stevenson. I have no problem with Yvonne Michelle. He's a goofball, but I have no problem with him. I'll sit down and do business with him. I have no problem with that. But yet, here's what we'll get. No. We don't do business without Heyman. Well, I don't care what you do. It's about the athlete. You ain't the one getting punched in the face. He is. We have Artur Beterbiev is out there, another great champion. Those are the guys I want to fight. Those are the guys that I want to fight. When you go in the joint, you don't fight the littlest dude. You fight the biggest dude. That's how you get your rep. Win, lose, or draw, you get your respect. Nadjib Mohammedi wants respect. He doesn't care about, well, I want this and this and this and this and that. He's like, look, man, Sergey Kovalev's driving around, flying first class, doing all this other shit. He says, I'm buying my own economy tickets to come over here. Listen, we're hungry. We'll beat this guy. And if we don't, I guarantee you, we're going to look damn good doing it. I guarantee it.
Right. All right, Vince. Well, damn. I don't even know how to follow all that up. You got bars on bars on bars, and, you educating people who are listening to the show to a lot of game. They think they know because they're tuned into social and they read the regurgitated thoughts of other people who are not intimately involved in the process, and they think they know what it is. So you are educating and opening minds up and really, airing stuff out tonight for people. So, what's next?
Like I said, hey, you got, like the five brothers from Compton said, brutally honest. That's all I'm being, brutally honest. I'm not making it up. I'm not exaggerating it. Look, I ain't nobody special. But the bottom line is, when it comes to business, especially with my clients, I'm transparent. And I've held this in. This fight should have been done. And to be held up for so long over such petty stuff, when you out there throwing other money around for nonsense, that tells me you don't want this fight. I know they don't want this fight. They don't. Look, Mohammedi is high risk, low reward. And I know because when Mohammedi fought Lee Campbell, where was Kovalev's manager? Right there with ringside, whispering in Kathy's ear. I got it on tape. You can watch it. Got it on tape. And they know Mohammedi is no walk in the park. He's fearless. He's got power. And he is not afraid to go in there and take that fight to him. It is low reward, high risk. So they're doing everything to deter this kid from taking the fight. But at the end of the day, they're helping us. Believe me, they're helping us. I have never seen this kid more hungry or focused. He's up in Big Bear right now, on his dollar. So just trust me.
I got a question for you.
Ryan, go ahead, Ryan.
If they don't take this next fight with Mohammedi, does the IBF strip them?
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. The IBF has to go by the deal that we have with Main Events, which was a sucker deal, and unfortunately I stepped away. I wasn't at the time. It was done with his previous manager, some woman who knew nothing. The bottom line was I would have put certain verbiage in that contract or requested certain verbiage that if we did come to a disagreement, that a purse bid be involved. His current promotional contract does not award him that. So the IBF has to follow what the promotional agreement says. The bottom line is this. If we don't come to an agreement, yes, we would lose that number one spot. And I told them that. And guess who number two is? Guess who number two is after us? Artur Beterbiev. Artur Beterbiev.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely not fighting him.
Well, I told him, I said, look at here. Give me what I want, or I wish you the best in negotiating with Mr. Heyman, Mr. Michel, and the very best in fighting Mr. Beterbiev, because I believe Artur Beterbiev would knock Sergey Kovalev out within 6 rounds. I guarantee it. He beat him in the amateur, and he'll beat him again. I guarantee it right here, right now. Artur Beterbiev will knock Sergey Kovalev out in 6 rounds. Guaranteed. And they don't want that fight. Not at this stage.
Well, let me ask you this then. Well, let's talk about this then. So we know that we've seen Better BS twice on HBO now, so it looks like HBO is trying to get behind him too. Do you think HBO would flip the script on them with Kovalev and pressure them into a fight against him?
Well, no, Artur's been on CBS. CBS is where Artur was on. Artur was on. I don't know if he was on HBO before. Showtime. There you go.
That's right.
He was on Showtime. And then he was on CBS last time out, and he looked absolutely splendid when he took apart Gabriel Campillo. Here's the thing. Whether they get behind him or not, Sergey Kovalev ain't going to fight that dude. No way, not at this juncture. Because they're going to say, hey, look.
Adonis before him.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing right now, let me tell you something. A year ago, Adonis Stevenson looked like a jackass. Right. You know what I mean? With the way that they portrayed everything. Look at how the tables have turned now.
Yeah, the tables have definitely turned.
Think about it, Ryan. Now who's BSing who here? Who's BSing who here? Think about that now. Yep. If it doesn't come out in the wash, brother, it's surely going to come out in the rinse, and it has.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
And
you're right.
Let me tell you, I gotta give him a salute. I gotta give the champ up there in Montreal a big salute because he did not take that route. You know, after they did that, when they posted that, let me tell you, if that was me and he posted something racist like that on me, boy, I would have Brother Minister Farrakhan at your front door tomorrow. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, we had a time discussing it on this show, you know. I had a little commentary about that myself, and, you know, I punctuated it with, don't tell me how to feel. I'm black. I'm entitled to feel however I like, and if you don't like the way I feel, kiss my ass. It's that simple.
And you have every right to that. I'm just shocked that other writers haven't done the same. I want to know, where does this guy get the pass? I mean, look, he's not a good guy. Sergey Kovalev is not a good guy, all right? Just so that you know that. Don't think he's like this nice guy. I mean, he's had his problems with the law up in Big Bear, California. He was excused from Abel Sanchez Gym, okay, told not to return, all right? This dude is not a good guy. He's not. Very selfish individual, very jealous individual. He wants to be Gennady Golovkin so bad, it's not even funny. He looks at the success. and how Golovkin is carried and everything else and the money that Golovkin's making, and that's what he wants. That's what he wants. But it's not going to happen because it all starts with self. You can't be a scumbag and come out looking like a hero. It doesn't work that way. It all starts with self. You're greedy, you're a snake. You see, you crawl. You don't walk with dignity. I mean, look at some of these chants. Gennady Golovkin, where he goes, he can walk down any street in America with his chin high. Same with Andre Ward. I don't care what anybody says about Andre Ward not fighting or anything. That man right there is a personal man. I think he's a great athlete. I think he just has some business issues he has to iron out. That's fine, though. But look at him. When he's in there, does he or does he not perform like a champion? Of course he does. You don't read about Andre Ward stealing things, getting in trouble with the law, making racist. That man is class. Gennady Golovkin is class. You see where I'm going with this?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody has their demons. Nobody's perfect. Everybody has their issues and faults. But when you have a habitual pattern of being a scumbag, that's what you are. That's what you are. And believe me, that's how bad we want to fight this guy. I wish I was fighting this guy. I can't stand him.
Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow, wow. Vince, it has been a pleasure. Ether, as usual, you know, you have an open door to return whenever you like.
Thank you. Thank you. Where's the other brother tonight, by the way? Where's the other brother? He's missing from the show here.
He is
Brandon Stubbs, Ishmael.
Ishmael. Where's Ishmael at?
I think he's tweeting for us, but, you know, he's wrapping it up because he's heading out to Vegas in the morning. But I know he's tuned in. He's tuned into the show, so he's making his prep to cover the fight in Vegas. So that's probably what he's up to tonight. So just me and Ryan holding it down for this week.
Well, you tell that brother I said hello. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I love you guys. I really do. I love your show. Ryan, continue doing what you're doing. Jandra, of course, continue. You always will have my support to both of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care.